Greetings, everyone. My name is Chris Eanes, and I am the Executive Director of the Cathedral Choral Society, the choir in residence at Washington National Cathedral, and your host for CCS Presents. On this episode, we have the opportunity to get inside the mind of one of today's leading collaborative pianists, Dr. Joy Schreier. Joy is the principal accompanist and vocal coach for the Cathedral Choral Society, the assistant conductor and coach for the Domingo K. Fritz Young Artist Program at Washington National Opera, and is in demand as a collaborator and vocal coach internationally. In today's feature, Joy discusses her education in an extremely demanding musical field, as well as her love of the music of Sergei Rachmaninoff, who was one of the foremost pianists and composers of the 20th century. We'll finish the program with a recording of a piece entitled Dissonance for soprano and piano by Rachmaninoff. The soprano you'll hear today is Colleen Daly. Please don't forget to follow us on YouTube along with all the socials, and don't hesitate to write with comments, questions, or suggestions for content. Thank you and enjoy.
I am so fortunate to have had the pioneer of collaborative piano as my teacher and mentor up at Eastman. I studied with Dr. Jean Barr, who recently retired, but she was the first person to have received a doctorate in collaborative piano, and part of her dissertation and her program for getting that was developing collaborative piano programs. We have collaborative piano programs because of her. I was very fortunate. She took a risk on me for sure. I get very emotional thinking about it because I realized what I knew then, how excited I was to be taken in by her. But looking back, I see the importance of the role that one decision she made, how it played a factor in my life and my career. And I know I would not be doing what I'm doing at the level I'm doing had she not taken that chance on me. So I'm very grateful to her. My audition went for about an hour and a half, and then she said, I'm way behind. I need to take a break, but I want you to come back. And I waited, and I sweated a lot, and then I went back and we went for another hour. It's not like I couldn't play, but what she cared more about than my ability to play the piano and the technique I had, she knew she can teach that. What she cared about was instinct. You have or you don't. It was a very grueling process. She made us work like I've never worked in my life. And when I was studying with her, I was playing 11 hours a day, and I wasn't doing enough. After a few months, I couldn't play anymore. I literally had a breakdown in studio class where I just didn't even feel like I could make it through this. It was the Prokofiev Flute Sonata. And she stopped the performance, and she came up on stage, and she took me by the shoulders, and she said, "You're being overtaken by your thoughts. Focus, read the music, just focus and look at the page." And I remember breathing and continuing. I don't think she intended the breakdown to happen, but I think she knew it would. I think she knew how far she could push us. And I think she knew what I needed. And I'm glad it happened. And I went in as a reasonably good pianist, but she gave me a career. My third year there was another student who was playing in his first studio class, and we were riding the elevator up to Hanson Hall, which it was Hanson Hall then, and I said, good luck tonight. I don't want you to be afraid. I was terrified my first time playing in studio class. I know it's hard playing for all of the other collaborative pianists. We know what you're going through. Don't be afraid. I had a breakdown my first time, and I survived, and it's okay. And he looked at me, he said, "I didn't know I was supposed to be afraid. I wasn't until that." I just adore playing Rachmaninoff. It is one of my absolute favorite composers to play. And part of it is because the music is stunning. I don't think there's anybody that doesn't like Rachmaninoff. But also for me, it is a bit of it's a bit of coming full circle because I have incredibly small hands, very small hands. Until I was in high school, I couldn't reach an octave. I couldn't play an octave. I could barely reach it, but I couldn't even play an octave. By my senior year in high school, I could play an octave, but I couldn't play octaves in succession. So I really worked on stretching out my hand because my fingers are very short. Most people have a bit of, an L, or even I worked and I was able to stretch my hand out. Where so many composers are melody and accompaniment, Rachmaninoff, he actually goes the other way, and he gives the accompaniment with the text, but he gives the accompanying figures to the voice. The text is by Polonsky, and it was written by Rachmaninoff in 1912, which is interesting because around the time that he wrote this, he was also writing a lot of his liturgical works. He wrote the Vespers around this time, the Liturgy of St. John, and so it comes from that time in his life. The text is about this woman who is sort of raging against the man she loves. She is now married to someone else, or is going to be married to someone else, and she's raging against the one she loves because she has had to, for some reason that we don't know, she has had to go and be with another man. This piece is a bit of a Shana. It's long and it's involved, and she's tearing out her heart and soul and raging against him because she loves him but can't be with him, and she blames him for this. So there's a lot of subtext that we can derive from that, why she couldn't. And I always find that interesting, that there's not a clear answer, and it means that we can really bring ourselves as artists to this and our own souls, which is wonderful.
Return